Who's up next?
Enemy spotted!
Enemy down.
Only half of our objectives remain. Keep fighting.
You tried.
I am magic itself. No escape.
You are the avatar of death.
Whoa. Fly. Burn.
I am the flame.
Not a smart place to be.
Magic itself and pack.
Enemy in the distance. Let's end this quickly. Enemy down. Retired from the flames.
You won't stop me!
Double kill. Triple kill. Quadra kill. Avatar of death.
You cannot stop.
Hush here, joining up. Should have thought twice. Should have thought twice. Hush here, joining up. Let's end this quickly. Who's up next? Together! Stay vigilant. Should have thought twice.
You won't stop me!
You tried. I return.
You are the avatar of death.
Should have thought twice. This isn't good.
I am hope. Did I see you rest?
Not dead yet.
Go forth.
We are victorious.
Story out there. I'm not actually being like, I'm not being ironic. They don't want the story out there. They're putting the parents in jail for telling their story. So make sure you share this video. Krista and Todd Kolstad had previously been ordered by a judge to remain silent on the case, but chose to speak out about
You
their
are the
situation last
avatar
week.
of death.
Redux was the first to break the story after speaking with the family about their tragic situation back on January 29th. In the interview, the Kolstads revealed that their 14-year-old daughter, Jennifer, had been removed from their custody after they declined to actively affirm her newfound gender identity. Montana Child and Family Services argued to a court that it was in the child's therapeutic best interest to have her gender identity respected, and a petition was presented for the child to be sent to a family member in Canada. Perfect. It'll make it easier for, well, you know all about the rates of self-deletion in that community. It'll be a lot easier in Canada, where you only have to be 14 years old to decide you want to no longer be on this planet, and the government will do it for you. The removal of this, the removal was a culmination of a months-long battle between her parents and Child Services, which started on August 18th, 2023, after Jennifer claimed to a friend that she was contemplating removing herself from the planet and suffering from terminal cancer, which was a lie, I suspect. The friend reported the claims to PD, good friend, I think you should do that, who reached out to the family to confirm that Jennifer was all right. Later on that evening, a CFS caseworker arrived at their home for an inspection and private interview with Jennifer, at which point the child declared that she had drank toilet bowl cleaner and taken a bunch of pain medicine. Though she's shown no signs or symptoms of illness and had no access to either substance, Jennifer was of course taken to the hospital anyway on an emergency basis for blood work, which conclusively determined that she in fact had lied again. She also does not have a medical history of cancer, despite having claimed it to her friend that she was terminal. So what do we have here? A child with mental illness, right? And I'm not making fun of mental illness. I'm just saying we have a child who has a mental condition. And then the government said, we're going to take your child away from you and put you in jail. Jennifer spent 2 days in the hospital on watch, at which point the Kolstedts agreed with CFS that she would benefit from being sent to a residential treatment facility for counseling. Fine. While there were a number of Montana-based facilities floated as options, the possibility of Jennifer being sent to Wyoming was also mentioned as an unlikely alternative. On August 22nd, the Kolstedts were told that Jennifer was next in line for a bed in Billings, Montana, but later on the same day received a call from the hospital informing them that she was instead being sent to an unnamed facility in Wyoming. Faced with a number of unanswered questions and concern about Wyoming's laws allowing children to transition, the Kolstedts expressed a hesitancy to allow their child to be sent over state lines. Within 10 minutes of refusing to immediately sign paperwork releasing Jennifer to the facility, Montana Child and Family Services arrived at the residence with police and served them with paperwork temporarily removing their child from their custody. Boy, once they have a chance to do this, they don't want to give up on it, do they? Jennifer was eventually returned to Montana to enter a youth group home for additional counseling, but the Kolstedts' fight with Child Services had only begun. Though initially told that Jennifer would be returned to their care after her time at the group home, CFS then petitioned the court to remove Jennifer from their custody and have her sent to a long estranged biological mother in Canada. So she was adopted. Adopted kids also come along generally with their own set of problems. We were told that letting Jennifer transition to live as a boy was in her therapeutic best interest, and because we weren't willing to follow that recommendation, the court gave Child Services custody of our child for 6 months. CFS is now going to place Jennifer in the care of her birth mother in Canada, who never has been a part of her life. The judge said, "You need to expect that reunification with your family may not be what you're expecting." In response to the decision, the Kolstedts released a video on social media pleading for help. The court demanded they remove it and issued a gag order restricting the Kolstads from speaking further on this case. Again, like this video, share this video. They voluntarily defied the order, re-uploaded the video, and spoke to press regardless out of concern for what was happening to their family. While a contempt of court hearing was set for January 29th, the Kolstads had to file for a continuance in order to leave the state and attend a severely ill family member in Ohio. All this, and we have people flowing over our borders, right? They voluntarily defied. Okay, so it's but the already mind-boggling story only has continued to grow in complexity after the governor of Montana, Greg Gianforte, released a statement on X siding with the decision of the state's Child and Family Services. While not directly accusing the Kolstads of bad behavior, Gianforte suggested that Jennifer was removed from the household for legitimate reasons. What are those legitimate reasons? Gender surgery on a 14-year-old who is clearly mentally ill. Clearly. Of course, Anna Slatz replied to him saying, "Hi Greg, I reviewed the Child and Family Services petition in this case too. The entire argument that CFS relied upon the child was neglected was based on the fact that the parents didn't want to send their kid to a Wyoming-based residential treatment facility because they would end up transing them, basically, due to concerns about her being medically transitioned. They refused to sign such paperwork until they were assured no such override of their parental authority would occur. Mind you, they have been told that she was next in line for a bed in Montana, so they were confused as heck why Wyoming became the destination of choice. Are you implying the parents who object to medically transitioning their kids can be deemed of abusive behavior in Montana?" By the way, he got ruthlessly ratioed on this. While CFS affidavit does extensively detail the child's complaints of bad behavior for not being affirmed in her desire to live as a boy, the argument made by CFS that resulted in her being removed from her parents' care was their hesitancy to immediately sign paperwork to send her to Wyoming, where she could likely be medically transitioned against her parents' will. In America, in Montana, not San Francisco, not Portland, Oregon, Montana. Both the CFS affidavit and the accompanying report neglect to acknowledge that Jennifer had lied about having terminal cancer, lied about drinking Clorox, lied about overdosing on pills, all statements that would lend weight to the parents' initial warnings that Jennifer had a history of attention-seeking behavior. All of the documents from CFS reviewed by Redux repeatedly state that the parents' reluctance to allow the kid to be transitioned or transported to Wyoming on demand was the sole reason from the removal of their custody. Previously, accusations of household instability detailed in the CFS report from 2016 to 2017, both of which involved Todd's ex-wife, were noted unsubstantiated lies and there's never been any history of Todd nor Christina physically harming or otherwise neglecting any of the children in their care. Despite the clear indications that bad behavior in the Kolstad residence was limited to only not affirming Jennifer's gender identity and expressing a hesitancy to sign paperwork allowing Jennifer to go to Wyoming, a push to paint the Kolstads as legitimately abusive has begun in an apparent effort to justify CFS's actions. Disturbingly, many of those pushes appear to originate directly from the governor's office. The calls were coming from inside the house. Travis Hall, Governor Gianforte's senior advisor, has shared 2 posts to his social media account in which it implied that the Kolstads were severely misparenting Jennifer. In one post shared by Hall, a user claimed that even children living in absolute filth and meth labs, with both parents being dealers and addicts, were not taken away from their parents in the way that Jennifer was, implying that what was happening to her house was far worse. Are you kidding me? So they're saying, oh yeah, I mean, it's worse than if this kid was growing up in a meth lab. A 14-year-old confused about their gender, not being allowed to medically transition is worse than living in a meth lab.
We should regroup.
By the way, this girl is 13 going on 14. On X, an individual claiming to be a lawyer who works to protect trans kids in Montana has been spreading the false claim that Todd Kolstad, Jennifer's father, was, quote, convicted of domestic bad behavior. In actuality, documents reviewed by Redux demonstrate the charges, which were unrelated to Jennifer, were also dropped in 2021. The Kolstads are currently engaged in a lawsuit against Glasgow Police Department for their alleged mismanagement of the case, and the officer at the center of the suit is also being pursued by other Glasgow residents for similar acts of misconduct. So, dirty cop. I mean, this is absolutely insane. Maddie Watkins, the family's media representative, reiterated Chris's sentiments and slammed Gianforte's office for participating in the smear campaign against the parents. We anticipated Governor Gianforte's next move would be to smear U.S. Air Force veteran Todd Kolstad and his wife, Krista, as bad parents. It's clear that his top priority is political reputation, not the child at the center of the increasingly political fight. Surely to defame parents as bad, to take away their child, requires some standard of evidence. If not, where does this stop? Which family in which state is next? In my opinion, Gianforte is giving state agents a manual on how to sever parent-child relationship and bypass all levels of law and government in order to put any minor they like on affirmation to lifelong medicalization pipeline. Our children are not safe. I couldn't agree more. This story is absolutely insane. Make sure, if you haven't yet, you leave a like on the video, and if you haven't after this, make sure you share it, because this is absolute nuts.
Let's try something new. Who's up next?
Dark Gale is here.
I am magic itself.
Let's end this quickly. You tried. This isn't good. try something new.
Over there.
This isn't good.
You'll pay.
Let's try something new. Better find some cover. Over here.
This is our final stand. Your valor will live forever.
Double kill. You have vanquished a powerful foe. You are the avatar of death.
Make my day.
Headshot.